Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm very excited to show you a very special seasonal junk journal. This is the second and last Easter journal I'll be doing this year, just because basically I have no more Easter ephemera. It's really hard to find Easter ephemera, and as everybody knows, if you follow me, every single page in here is Easter themed ephemera, and every insert, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So let me tell you a little bit about this wonderful junk journal. Let's start with this cover. I found this antique song sheet called the Easter Song. So I used that as my base. And then I put some vintage fabric on here, which is gorgeous and has this gold threading in it. And then this is the pièce de résistance. It's a postcard from 1902. There's a little boy with his giant Easter egg, and it is from Italy. So it's Buona Pasco. Bueno Pasco. And yeah, and this was sent to the Bronx, New York. I put two little slits in the fabric here to hold the postcard. So if the new owner wants, they can ask me to adhere it, or they can adhere it themselves. But I just had to leave it so that you could pull it out and take a look at it. Put some matching ribbons down the side here, and just put some vintage applique down the back there. And let me show you the inside before I put it in my Etsy shop. So the very first page here is absolutely precious, and I made it the first page because this is my favorite little image here. It's this little darling holding Easter lilies, and that is from 1905. So look at this one holding the pussy willows. So beautiful spring image. And this page here, which is absolutely beautiful, and that is from Bookland. 1930s, and so I made it so that you could flip it out and read the back here, and then there's this lovely little springtime poem there, and then this here is from the 1870s, and it's just another extra journaling spot here for you. And look at that beautiful plate there, and they're gathering lilies of the valley, and I just thought that was a beautiful image for an Easter journal. Nice spring flowers. This is really cool, from 1925. It's how to make a rabbit sculpture out of soap. That's pretty neat, right? So because it was a rabbit, had to do it. Just a fun cluster here. And this here is also from the 1940s children's book, and that's a different Peter Rabbit. Now what I've done is I've gone into my 1903 version of the Beatrix Potter Peter Rabbit, and because to me he's the most famous rabbit of all time, he's going to go in this pocket here. And I've also got this beautiful botanicals with another lily there, a daylily. It's not an Easter lily, but it's a lily, so it counts for Easter, and I just love that. This here page is from the 1850s, and you can journal on that. There's another one coming up, and this is really cool, from the 1960s, from a craft book. Sorry, I have it upside down. How to make decorations out of colored eggs. Isn't that neat? And I put antique paper on the back so you could journal there, and up here, and over here. This is from the 1940s, and it's a little iron-on or transfer tracing paper even, that you could embroider. You put it on your tea towels and then you embroider. So it's a little Easter duck. That's sweet. I just love it. And of course, this is also from the 1920s here, basketry, because that reminded me of Easter baskets. See? Yay! I'm so excited. This little sweetie pocket here I made out of an early 1900s children's book page, a little bunny in a cage there outdoors. And here's another vintage music sheet from the 40s, Easter music, or sorry, Easter morning. Just a little banknote here, because I always like to put a banknote in my journals, and a 68 payday card, because it had 3s in it for March, which Easter is this year. And then just this is the flip side of that Easter morning song, and I think it's lovely because it's a family picture. Look at this sweet one here. A child has put a crayon number 7 there, which was the page number, which I thought was pretty cute. And just little bunnies going on a little walk. I just love it. I put some of my pressed flowers on this vintage pocket here, and this is very, very old, from the very early 1900s. And the little rabbit, and look at on the other side. Oh my gosh, it's so sweet. And in here is a very rare card here. Oopsie, sorry. This one is from a coffee company, Blue Ribbon and Tea. So this is a tea card, and that is a little bunny there. And I put it in a little bunny pocket, also antique. This here's an antique page, My Lady Spring, and I put it in there because Easter always falls in the spring, and we always look forward to those beautiful pastel colors and spring Easter themes. There's another little bunny down here, and this here is from the 1800s. It is a song of Easter, and I didn't do anything to it so you could read both sides. I love it. It's a beautiful poem. Tuck that in there. And I'm also going to tuck in there this 1937 5-year calendar page because it's a spring week, April. And I have a few more things to tuck in. This is actually a really good size too. It's 6 by 9 1/4. So this is a big journal. Usually I don't do my specialty journals that big, but this one is, I wanted it to be extra special since this is my last one. I love this one, the white Easter rabbit from the 30s, antique paper on the back of that. And then this one here is from the 50s. We have Down a Sunny Easter Meadow. This here is another one of these beautiful 1920s art and crafts books. And we've got the ducks and the bunnies up there making bibs. And then that is the cross stitch pattern there. This is, I just chose it because it said spring on it. This is also from the 1920s, made in England, these snaps. And it was pastel colored, so it's perfect. This is from the 1920s. This is from the 1940s. This is a funny story. I see this story come up a lot in children's books with the tiger and the rabbits. And then this here is from 1896, and it's novel Easter souvenirs. And so on the back here, look at these gorgeous images. Oh my gosh, they're absolutely exquisite. So that's a pretty precious piece. This piece here is from the 50s. All these children's books are different. I've really went crazy looking for these images. And then this is a vintage botanical page. And this is also from the 1800s, another Easter piece from the book on love letters. And this here is also from the 1800s, and some passages here about Easter as well. And you know what? I've got this little booklet here that I'm going to stuff in, just an extra little journaling space. I'm going to tuck that in there. Another Easter poem here, Easter Night, from a vintage book, A Way of Poetry. This is from the early 1900s, pre-1910. This is from a vintage children's book. Two bunnies looking at let's call it a junk journal. Antique paper on the back of that. And this here is a very old magazine page, and it's got Easter crafts here. So paste up crafts, also Valentine's Day there. And then we've got all these wonderful aprons for January and February. So that's pretty fun. We've got the Easter crafts there. So that's what I was going for. The rest is a bonus. This is from the early 1900s here. And that is, I put this in because their Easter is, the main thing is about Jesus and the death of Jesus. So that is a very important part of many people's Easter. Here's another vintage Easter song here, and it's got the lilies up here. Or are they daffodils? Oh no, sorry, daffodils. Daffodils. And this is truth be told, this is not Easter themed, but I just love it, so I wanted it in here. So that's just me being selfish, but I just thought these were beautiful fashions. Look at the waists. How did they get the waists that tiny? That's just craziness. Okay. And then back here, I have, oh, this is really sweet. This came from a 1930s magazine. Look at that sweet little fashion there. And then this here is from 1895, and it's Easter Thoughts. And I put that on top of antique paper as well. More bunnies back here. Look at this beautiful one, Meadow Lily, the Easter lily. Absolutely beautiful. And on the other side is wild roses. And then we've got these daffodils, another wonderful spring and Easter flower. This came from the 1940s, and a whole book on Easter, an Easter poem here. This is from the 1920s, The Rabbit Family, Jack Rabbit. This is from a craft magazine from the 50s, and this is a recipe from the 70s, so 50 years old. And I picked it because it has chocolate dipped candy. And who's kidding who? We all like chocolate at Easter. And then another one of these beautiful 1920s pages. This is also from the 40s. Look at that little baby with the bunny costume. And this pattern here is for a bunny. So I thought I would put that in. Vintage pattern. More vintage children's books. This is just a tag. Look at the library marks here from the 50s and 60s. I love it. The 40s, all the way down to the 40s, 45. So that's just fun to journal on. Another vintage or antique page here with your favorites on. Actually, that's antique. And that brings us almost to the end. Another bunny page, another Easter page, the lesson of faith. And these gloves here I put in, these are vintage. You can tell just by looking at the seam down the back, because it used to be when I was a little girl and we went to church on Easter, you had to wear gloves and a hat. So I thought I would add those in. So I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. Thanks for joining me.